Today we're diving into a crucial topic, the relationship between Child Protective Services, or CPS, and public schools. So how did schools become so closely linked with CPS, and what is the nature of their relationship? Public schools and charter schools funded by public money fall under tighter governmental oversight. This often leads to a formal interdepartmental relationship between CPS and the public school system, known as a Memorandum of Understanding, which allows CPS access to schools, records, and children as needed. A Memorandum of Understanding is a cooperative agreement between two parties. In this case, an agreement between the state or municipal child welfare agency and the state or municipal Department of Education. It is not legally binding. Not only does this provide CPS with access to schools and records, the relationship goes both ways. School staff make more reports to CPS than any other mandated or non-mandated demographic, and school staff are almost always around school-age children more than any other provider. When CPS receives a report, they often try to interview the child at school first, as parents are not present to influence the child. While this is seen as a way to get a more honest account, it can also lead to coercive interviews and premature conclusions. CPS may also have access to public school records such as attendance, grades, and special education services without direct school involvement. Parental consent for this relationship is passively implied by the act of enrolling the child in the public school system, under which this Memorandum of Understanding is conditional. While educational neglect is only investigated by CPS in 23 states and Washington, D.C., school staff aren't limited to just reporting educational neglect. They're required to report even the smallest sign of any type of possible child maltreatment they hear about or observe. In part due to the close relationship and the amount of time they spend around children, they make more than 1 in 5 of all reports to CPS. That's over 20% of all reports in the United States. Many parents are unaware that their children can be pulled out of class and interviewed by CPS without their notification. They don't find out until their child tells them after the fact. So how can you preserve your rights and protect your family in the face of this cozy relationship? At CPS Protect Consulting Services, we recommend considering private school education or ideally homeschooling. Private schools do not have the same relationship with CPS and may be more protective of their member families. Homeschooling allows for the most control and distance from regulation. If private schooling or homeschooling are not viable options for your family, there are steps you can take to protect your family. Establish a strong rapport with your child's school and staff through frequent communication. If you suspect an initial visit by CPS, keep your child home from school that day, so CPS must interview them at home. Request copies of attendance records quarterly to ensure they're correct, and make sure all student records are up to date. If your child is old enough, educate him or her not to talk privately with any adults at school they do not know, and to inform you if they're ever asked to. While the relationship between CPS and public schools can make it challenging to retain control over initial interviews, all hope is not lost. With careful planning and good decision-making, you can preserve your rights and protect your family. To learn more about how you can preserve your rights and protect your family, visit cpsprotect.com or call us toll-free at 844-633-KIDS. CPS Protect Consulting Services, saving children, preserving families.